students, welcome to the PD Life Science Academy for the Happy Learning. नीट एक्झामची प्रिपरेशन जे विद्यार्थी करत आहेत त्यांच्यासाठी बेसिक कन्सेप्ट लर्निंग आणि लिंकिंग ऑफ कन्सेप्ट हे जेवढे गरजेचे आहे तेवढेच NCERT बुकमधील चॅप्टरचे कंटेंट रीड करणे आवश्यक आहे. हे करत असताना फक्त एक रीडिंग करून चालणार नाही, मल्टिपल टाइम्स रिव्हिजन होणे गरजेचे आहे. यात टाळाटाळ करणे चांगले नव्हे. आपण सेट केलेले टार्गेट अचीव करण्यासाठी PD लाईफ सायन्स अकॅडमीने सर्व स्टुडंटसाठी जे नीट एक्झामचे प्रिपरेशन करीत आहेत त्यांच्यासाठी 21 डे रीडिंग चॅलेंजची सुरुवात केली आहे. रोज एका चॅप्टरचे रीडिंग आपण कंप्लीट करणार आहोत. हे चॅलेंज ज्या विद्यार्थ्यांनी ॲक्सेप्ट केले आहे त्यांनी त्यांचे डेली टार्गेट अचीव केल्यावर कॉमेंट करून सांगायचे आहे. सो लेट्स गेट रेडी फॉर टेकिंग रीडिंग चॅलेंज. ऑल द व्हेरी बेस्ट. थँक यू. 21 डे बायोलॉजी रीडिंग चॅलेंज, डे 14 रीडिंग चॅलेंज, चॅप्टर नंबर 14 फ्रॉम NCERT biology textbook of 11th standard. Chapter number 14, name of chapter is a respiration in plant. All of us breathe to live, but why is a breathing is so essential for life? What happen when we breathe? Also, do all living organisms including the plants and microbes get breathe? If so, then how? The all living organisms need the energy for carrying out the daily life activities, be it absorption, transport, movement, reproduction, or even a breathing. Where does all this energy come from? We know we eat for energy, but how is this energy is taken from food, and how is the energy is utilized? Do all food gives the same amount of energy? Do plants eat? Where do the plant get their energy from? And the microorganism for their energy requirement, do they eat food? You may wonder at the several questions arises above, and they may seem to a very disconnected. But in reality, the process of the breathing is very much connected to the process of release of the energy from the food. Let us try and understand how this happens. All the energy required for the life processes is obtained by the oxidation of the some macromolecules that we call as a food. Only green plants and the cyanobacteria are prepare their own food by the process of photosynthesis, and they trap the light energy and convert it into the chemical energy that is stored in the bonds of the carbohydrate like the glucose, sucrose, and the starch. We must remember that in a green plant too, not all cells, tissues, or organ are photosynthesized. Only cells containing chloroplasts that are most often located in the superficial layer carry out the photosynthesis. Hence, even in a green plant, all other organs, tissues, and the cells that are the non-green need a food for the oxidation. Hence, the food has to be translocated to non-green parts. The animals are the heterotrophic, that is, they obtain the food from the plant directly, that is the herbivores, or indirectly known as the carnivores. The saprophytes like the fungi are dependent on the dead and the decaying matter. What is important to recognize is that the ultimately all food that is a respired for the life processes come from the photosynthesis. This chapter deals with the cellular respiration, or a mechanism of the breakdown of the food material within the cell to release the energy and trapping of this energy for the synthesis of ATP. The photosynthesis of course takes place within the chloroplast in the eukaryotes, whereas the breakdown of the complex molecule to yield the energy takes place in the cytoplasm and in mitochondria. Also only in a eukaryotes. The breaking of the carbon-carbon bond of the complex compound through the oxidation within the cell leading to release the considerable amount of the energy is called as a respiration. The compounds that are oxidized during this process are known as the respiratory substances. Usually, the carbohydrates are oxidized to release the energy, but a protein or fats and even the organic acid can be used as a respiratory substances in some plants under certain conditions. During oxidation within the cell, all the energy contained in a respiratory substances is not released free into the cell or in a single step. It releases in a series of the slow steps wise the reaction controlled by the enzymes, and it is trapped as a chemical energy in the form of the ATP. Hence, it is important to understand that the energy released by the oxidation in respiration is not, or rather cannot be used directly, but is used to synthesize the ATP, which is broken down whenever or wherever the energy is needed to utilize. Hence, the ATP acts as an energy currency of the cell, and this energy trapped in the ATP is utilized in the various energy requiring the processes of the organism, and the carbon skeleton produces during the respiration is called as a precursor for the biosynthesis of other molecules in the cell. 14.1 is a do plants breathe? Well, the answer of this question is not quite so direct. Yes, the plant requires the oxygen for the respiration to occur, and they also gives out the CO2. Hence, the plant have the system in the place that ensure the availability of the oxygen. The plant, unlike the animals, have no specialized organ for the gaseous exchange, but they have the stomata and the lenticels for this purpose. And there are the several reasons why plants can get along without the respiratory organs. First, each plant part take care of its own gaseous exchange need, and there is a very little transport of the gases from the one plant part to the another. The second plant do not present great demand for the gaseous exchange. The root, stem and leaves respire at a rate far lower than the animal do. Only during the photosynthesis are large volume of the gaseous exchange, and each leaf is well adapted to take care of its own need. During this period, when the cell photosynthesize, availability of the oxygen is not a problem in these cells, since the oxygen is released within the cell. Third, the distance that gases must diffuse even in a large bulky plants is not great. Each living cell in a plant is located quite close to the surface of the plant, and this is true for the leaves. You may ask, but what about the thick woody stem or the roots? In the stem, the living cells are organized in the thin layer inside and beneath the bark. They also have opening called as a lenticel. The cell in the interior are the dead and provides only the mechanical support. Thus, most cell of the plant have the least a part of the surface in a contact with the air, and this is also facilitated by the loose packing of the parenchyma cells in the leaves and the stems and the roots, which provides and the interconnected network of the air spaces. The complete combustion of the glucose, which produces the CO2 and the water, that is the H2O, as an end product, yields the energy, most of which is given out as a heat, that is the C6H12O6 plus 6O2. It gives rise to the 6CO2 plus 6H2O plus energy. If this energy is to be useful to the cell, it should be able to utilize it to synthesize the other molecule that the cell require. The strategy that the plant cell uses is to catabolize the glucose molecule in such a way that not all liberated energy goes out as a heat. The key is to oxidize the glucose not in a one step but in a several small steps, establishing the some steps to be just large enough such that the energy is released can be coupled at a ATP synthesis. How this is done is essentially the story of the respiration. During the process of respiration, the oxygen is utilized and the carbon dioxide, water and the energy is released as a product. The combustion reaction requires the oxygen, but some cells live where the oxygen may or may not be available. Can you think of such a situation and the organisms where oxygen is not available? There are the sufficient reason to believe that the first cell on this planet live in an atmosphere that lacks the oxygen. Even among present day living organisms, we know the several that are adapted to the anaerobic conditions. Some of these organisms are facultative anaerobes, while in others the requires the anaerobic condition is obligate. If any case, all living organisms retain the enzymatic machinery to partially oxidize the glucose without help of oxygen, and this breakdown of the glucose to the pyruvic acid is called as a glycolysis. Now the 14.2 is a glycolysis. The term glycolysis has originated from the Greek word that is the glucose for the sugar and the lysis for the splitting. The name of the glycolysis was given in the Gustav Embden and Otto Meyerhof and the J. Parnas and is often referred to as in anaerobic organism. It is the only process in the respiration. The glycolysis occurs in the cytoplasm of the cell and is present in all living organisms. In these processes, the glucose undergoes the partial oxidation to form two molecules of the pyruvic acid in plants, and this glucose is derived from the sucrose, which is end product of the photosynthesis or from the storage carbohydrate. In sucrose is converted into the glucose and the fructose by the enzyme invertase, and these two monosaccharides radially enters the glycolytic pathways. The glucose and the fructose are the phosphorylated to give rise to the glucose 6-phosphate by the activity of the enzyme that is the hexokinase. The phosphorylated form of the glucose then isomerized to produce a fructose 6-phosphate. The subsequent steps of the metabolism of the glucose and the fructose are the same. The various types of the glycolysis are depicted in a figure. In glycolysis, the chain of the 10 reactions under the control of the different enzymes take place to produce the pyruvate from the glucose. While studying the steps of the glycolysis, please note the steps at which the utilization or the synthesis of the ATP or in this case the NADH plus H plus take place. ATP is utilized at a two-step. First in the conversion of the glucose into the glucose 6-phosphate, and the second in the conversion of the fructose 6-phosphate to the fructose 1,6-bisphosphate. The fructose 1,6-bisphosphate is split into the dihydroxyacetone phosphate and the 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde, that is the PGAL. We find that there is one step where the NADH plus H plus is formed from the NAD plus. This is when the 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde, that is the PGAL, the converted to the 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate, the BPGA. The two redox equivalent are removed in the form of the two hydrogen atoms from the PGAL and transferred to the molecule of the NAD plus. PGAL is the oxidized and with the inorganic phosphate to get converted into the BPGA. The conversion of the BPGA to the 3-phosphoglyceric acid, that is the PGA, is also the energy yielding processes. This energy is trapped by the formation of the ATP. Another ATP is synthesized during the conversion of the PEP, that is the phosphoenol pyruvate, to the pyruvic acid. Can you then calculate how many ATP molecules are directly synthesized in this pathway from one glucose molecule. The pyruvic acid is then key product of the glycolysis. What is the metabolic fate of the pyruvate? This depends on the cellular need, and there are the three major ways in which the different cell handle the pyruvic acid produced by the glycolysis. These are the lactic acid fermentation, alcoholic fermentation, and the aerobic respiration. The fermentation takes place under the anaerobic condition in a many prokaryotes and the unicellular eukaryote. For the complete oxidation of the glucose to the CO2 and the water, however, the organism adopt the Krebs cycle, which is also called as a aerobic respiration, and this requires the oxygen supply. In 14.3 is a fermentation. In fermentation, say by the yeast, the incomplete oxidation of the glucose is achieved under the anaerobic condition by set of the reaction where the pyruvic acid is converted to the CO2 and the ethanol. The enzyme pyruvic acid decarboxylase and the alcohol dehydrogenase catalyze these reactions. Other organisms like some bacteria produce a lactic acid from the pyruvic acid. The steps involved are shown in the figure. In animal cell also, like a muscle during the exercise, when oxygen is inadequate for the cellular respiration, that is the pyruvic acid is reduces to the lactic acid by lactate dehydrogenase. The reducing agent is the NADH plus H plus, which is the reoxidized to the NAD plus in both the processes. In both lactic acid and the alcohol fermentation, not much energy is released. Less than the 7% of the energy in the glucose is released, and not all it is a trap as a higher energy bond of the ATP. Also, the process are the hazardous. Either the acid or the alcohol is a produce. What is the net ATP that is a synthesized? That is the calculate how many ATP are synthesized and deduct the number of ATP utilized during the glycolysis. When one molecule of the glucose is fermented to the alcohol or the lactic acid, yeast poisons themselves to the death when the concentration of the alcohol reaches about the 13%. What then would be the maximum concentration of the alcohol in the beverage that are naturally fermented? How do you think about the alcoholic beverage of the alcohol content greater than this concentration are obtained? What then the process by which the organism can carry out the complete oxidation of the glucose and extract the energy stored to the synthesize a large number of the ATP molecule needed for the cellular metabolism? In eukaryote, these steps take place within a mitochondria, and this requires the oxygen. Aerobic respiration is a process that leads to the complete oxidation of the organic substances in presence of the oxygen and release the CO2, water, and the large amount of the energy present in the substrate. This type of the respiration is the most common in a higher plant. We will look at these processes in the next section. Now the 14.4 is aerobic respiration. For aerobic respiration to take place within the mitochondria, the final product of the glycolysis, pyruvate, is the transported from the cytoplasm into the mitochondria. The crucial event in the aerobic respiration are the complete oxidation of the pyruvate by the stepwise removal of all the hydrogen atoms, leaving the 3 molecules of the CO2. The passing of all the electron removed as a part of the hydrogen atoms to molecular oxygen with simultaneous synthesis of the ATP. What is interesting to note is that the first process takes place in the matrix of the mitochondria, while the second process is located on the inner membrane of the mitochondria. The pyruvate, which is formed by the glycolytic catabolism of the carbohydrate in a cytosol, after it enters the mitochondrial matrix, undergoes the oxidative decarboxylation by complex set of the reaction catalyzed by the pyruvic dehydrogenase. The reaction catalyzed by the pyruvic dehydrogenase requires a participation of the several coenzymes, including the NAD plus and the coenzyme A. The pyruvic acid plus CoA plus NAD plus the Mg2 plus pyruvate dehydrogenase, it give rise to the acetyl CoA plus CO2 plus NADH plus H plus. During this process, two molecules of the NADH are produced from the metabolism of the two molecules of the pyruvic acid, that is produced from the one glucose molecule during the glycolysis. The acetyl CoA then enters a cyclic pathway, tricarboxylic acid cycle, more commonly called as a Krebs cycle, after the scientist, that is the Hans Krebs, who first elucidated it. The first is a tricarboxylic acid cycle. The TCA cycle starts with the condensation of the acetyl group with the oxaloacetic acid, that is the OAA, and the water to yield the citric acid. The reaction is catalyzed by the enzyme citrate synthase and the molecule of the CoA is released. The citrate is then isomerized to the isocitrate. It is followed by the two successive steps of the decarboxylation, leading to the formation of the alpha ketoglutaric acid and then succinyl CoA. In the remaining steps of the citric acid cycle, the succinyl CoA is oxidized to the oxaloacetic acid, allows the cycle to continue. During the conversion of the succinyl CoA to succinic acid, a molecule of the GTP is synthesized. This is the substrate level phosphorylation. In the coupled reaction, the GTP is converted to the GDP with simultaneous synthesis of the ATP from the ADP. Also, there are the 3 points in a cycle where the NAD plus is reduces to the NADH plus H plus, and 1 point where the FAD plus is reduced to the FADH2. The continued oxidation of the acetyl CoA via the TCA cycle requires a continued replenishment of the oxaloacetic acid and the first member of the cycle. In addition, it also requires the regeneration of the NAD plus and FAD plus from the NADH and FADH2 respectively. The summary equation for these phases of the respiration may written as follows, that is the pyruvic acid plus 4-NAD plus FAD plus 2H2O plus ADP plus inorganic phosphate. In present, this all reaction take place in a mitochondrial matrix. It give rise to the 3CO2 plus 4NADH plus 4H plus FADH2 plus ATP. We have till now see that the glucose has been broken down to release the CO2 and the 8 molecule of NADH plus H plus. 2 of the FADH2 have been the synthesized beside just 2 molecules of the ATP in a TCA cycle. You may have wondering why we have been discussing the respiration at all. Neither oxygen has come into the picture nor the promised larger number of the ATP has yet been synthesized. Also, what is the role of the NADH plus H plus and the FADH2 that is synthesized? Let us now understand the role of the oxygen in the respiration and how the ATP is synthesized. Now the 14.4.2 is the electron transport system, that is the ETC, and the oxidative phosphorylation. The following step in the respiratory processes are to release and utilize the energy stored in the NADH plus H plus and FADH2. This accomplished when they are oxidized through the electron transport system, and electron are passed on to the oxygen resulting in the formation of water. The metabolic pathway through which the electron passes from the one carrier to the another is called as the electron transport system, that is the ETS, and it is called as, and it is present in the inner mitochondrial membrane. The electron from the NADH produces in the mitochondrial matrix during the citric acid cycle are oxidized by the NADH dehydrogenase, that is the complex number 1, and the electron are then transferred to the ubiquinone and located within the inner membrane. Ubiquinone is also receive the reducing equivalent DNA, that is the FADH2, that is the complex 2nd, and is generated during the oxidation of the succinate in the citric acid cycle. The reduced ubiquinone or the ubiquinol is then oxidized with the transfer of the electron to the cytochrome C via a cytochrome BC1 complex, that is the complex number 3rd. The cytochrome C is the small protein attached to the outer surface of the inner membrane and act as a mobile carrier for the transfer of the electron between a complex number 3 and the 4. The complex 4 is referred to as the cytochrome C oxidase complex containing a cytochrome A and the A3 and the 2 copper centers. When electron passes from the one carrier to the another via a complex number 1 to 4. Via complex 1 and the 4 in the electron transport chain, they are the coupled to the ATP synthase, that is the complex 5, for the production of the ATP from the ADP and the inorganic phosphate. The number of ATP molecule synthesizes depends on the nature of the electron donor. The oxidation of the one molecule of the NADH gives rise to the 3 molecule of ATP, while that of the one molecule of the FADH2 produces the 2 molecules of the ATP. Although the aerobic processes of the respiration take place only in the presence of the oxygen, the role of the oxygen is limited to the terminal stage of the processes. Yet the presence of the oxygen is vital, and since it drives the whole process by removing the hydrogen from the system, the oxygen acts as a final hydrogen acceptor. Unlike the photophosphorylation, where it is the light energy that is utilized for the production of the proton gradient required for the phosphorylation. In respiration, it is the energy of the oxidoreduction utilized for the same process. It is this reason that the process is called as oxidative phosphorylation. You have already studied about the mechanism of the membrane link the ATP synthesis as explained by the chemoosmotic hypothesis in the earlier chapter. As mentioned earlier, the energy released during the electron transport system is utilized in the synthesizing the ATP with the help of the ATP synthase, that is a complex 5. This complex consists of the two major components, that is the F1 and the F0. The F1 head piece is the peripheral membrane protein complex and the containing a site for the synthesis of the ATP from the ADP and the inorganic phosphate. F0 is an the integral membrane protein complex that forms a channel through which the proton cross the inner membrane. The passage of the proton through the channel is coupled to the catalytic site of the F1 component for the production of the ATP. For each ATP produced, the 2 hydrogen passes through the F0 from the intermembrane space to the matrix down the electrochemical proton gradient. Now the 14.5 is the respiratory balance sheet. It is possible to make the calculation of the net gain of the ATP for the every glucose molecule oxidized, but in reality this can remain only a theoretical exercise. This calculation can be made only on the certain assumptions that there is a sequential orderly pathway functioning with one substrate forming a next and with the glycolysis, that is the TCA cycle, and the electron transport system pathway following a one after another. The NADH synthesizes a glycolysis is a transfer into the mitochondria and undergoes the oxidative phosphorylation. None of the intermediate in the pathway are utilized to synthesize any other compounds. Only glucose is being respired. No other alternative substances are entering in the pathway at any of the intermediate stage. But this kind of the assumptions are not really valid in a living system. All pathways work simultaneously and do not take place one after another. The substrate enters the pathway and are withdraws from it as and where necessary. The ATP is utilized as and when needed. The enzymatic rate is controlled by the multiple means, and yet it is useful to do this exercise to appreciate the beauty and the efficiency of the living system in the extraction and the storing energy. Hence, there can be the net gain of the 38 ATP molecules during the aerobic respiration of the one molecule of the glucose. Now, let us compare the fermentation and the aerobic respiration. Fermentation accounts for the only a partial breakdown of the glucose, whereas in the aerobic respiration it is completely degraded to the CO2 and the water. The fermentation, there is a net gain of the only two molecules of the ATP for each molecule of the glucose degraded to pyruvic acid, whereas many more molecules of the ATP are generated under the aerobic conditions. NADH is oxidized to the NAD plus rather slowly in the fermentation. However, the reaction is very vigorous in case of the aerobic respiration. In 14.6, the amphibolic pathway. Glucose is the favored the substrate for the respiration. All carbohydrates are usually first converted to the glucose before they are used for the respiration. Other substrate can also be respired as has been the mentioned earlier, but then they do not enter the respiratory pathway at the first step. See the figure, see the points of the entry of the different substrate in the respiratory pathway. The fats would need to broken down into the glycerol and the fatty acid first. If the fatty acid were to be respired, they would first be degraded to the acetyl-CoA and enters the pathway. The glycerol would enters the pathway after being converted to the PGAL. The protein would be degraded by the protease and individual amino acid after deamination, or depending on their structure would enters the pathway at some stage within the Krebs cycle, or even as a pyruvic or a acetyl-CoA. Since the respiration involves the breakdown of the substrate, the respiratory process has traditionally been considered a catabolic process and the respiratory pathway as a catabolic pathway. But is this the understanding correct? We have discussed above all which points in the respiratory pathway different substances would enter if they were to be respired and used to derive energy. What is the important to recognize is that it is this a very compound that would be withdrawal from the respiratory pathway for the synthesis of the said substrate. Hence, the fatty acid would be broken down to the acetyl-CoA before entering the respiratory pathway when it is used as a substrate. But when the organism needs to synthesize the fatty acid, the acetyl-CoA would be withdrawal from the respiratory pathway for it. Hence, the respiratory pathway comes into the picture both during the breakdown and the synthesis of the fatty acid. Similarly, during the breakdown and the synthesis of the protein too, respiratory intermediate forms the link. The breaking down process within the living organism is catabolized and the synthesis is anabolized. Because the respiratory pathway is involved in the both anabolism and the catabolism, it would hence be better to consider the respiratory pathway is an amphibolic pathway rather than this is the catabolic one. Now the 14.17 is a respiratory quotient. Let us now look at the another aspect of the respiration. As you know, during the aerobic respiration, the Q2 or oxygen is consumed and the CO2 is released. The ratio of the volume of CO2 involves to the volume of the oxygen consumed in the respiration is called as a respiratory quotient or RQ, or the respiratory ratio. Respiratory ratio or RQ is equal to the volume of the CO2 involved divided by volume of the oxygen is consumed. The respiratory quotient depends upon the type of the respiratory substrate used during the respiration. When the carbohydrates are used as a substrate and are completely oxidized, the RQ will be the 1 because the equal amount of the CO2 and the oxygen are evolved and consumed respectively, as shown in the equation below. that is the C6H12O6 plus 6 oxygen. It give rise to the 6 CO2 plus 6 H2O plus energy, that is the RQ is equal to 6 CO2 divided by 6 O2 is equal to 1. When the fats are used in the respiration, the RQ is less than 1, and calculation for the fatty acid or tripalmitin if used as a substrate is shown that is the 2C51H98O6, that is the tripalmitin plus 145 oxygen, it give rise to the 102 CO2 plus 98 H2O plus the energy, that is the RQ is equal to 102 CO2 divided by 145 oxygen is equal to 0.7. When the protein are respiratory substrate, the ratio would be above the 0.9. What is the importance to recognize that in the living organism, respiratory substrate are often more than one. The pure protein or the fats are never used as a respiratory substrate. Now the summary of the respiration in the plant. The plant, unlike the animal, have no special system for the breathing or a gaseous exchange. Stomata and the lenticule allows the gaseous exchange by the diffusion. Almost all living cells in the plant have their surface exposed to the air. The breaking of the carbon-carbon bond of the complex organic molecule by the oxidation cell leading to the release of the lots of the energy is called as a cellular respiration. Glucose is a favored the substrate for the respiration. The fats and the proteins can also be broken down to yield the energy. The initial stage of the cellular respiration takes place in the cytoplasm. Each glucose molecule is broken through the series of the enzyme and catalyze the reaction into the two molecules of the pyruvic acid. The process is called as a glycolysis. The fate of the pyruvate depends upon the availability of the oxygen and the organism. Under the aerobic condition, either the lactic acid fermentation or the alcoholic fermentation occurs. The fermentation takes place under the anaerobic condition in many prokaryotes, the unicellular eukaryotes, and in germinating seed. In eukaryotic organism, aerobic respiration occurs in the presence of the oxygen. The pyruvic acid is transported into the mitochondria where it is converted into the acetyl-CoA with release of the CO2. The acetyl-CoA then enters the tricarboxylic acid pathway or a Krebs cycle operating in a matrix of the mitochondria. NADH plus H plus and FADH2 are generated in the Krebs cycle. The energy is those molecules as well as that in the NADH plus H plus synthesized during the glycolysis are used to synthesize the ATP. This is accomplished through a system of the electron carrier called as the electron transport system, that is the ETS, located on the inner membrane of the mitochondria. The electron, as they move through the system, release enough energy that are transported or trapped to synthesize the ATP. This is called as the oxidative phosphorylation. In this process, the oxygen is utilized acceptor of the electron and it get reduces to the water. The respiratory pathway is the amphibolic pathway as it involves both metabolism and the catabolism. The respiratory quotient depends upon the type of the respiratory substances used during the respiration. Thank you so much.